Good evening, wherever you are, and welcome to NerdTube. And it's time to talk about the finale of season 2 of Loki, Glorious Purpose. At the moment, I'm here with D. Jose. How you doing, mate?
I'm doing all right. I thought that, man, for Marvel, for them to go out with Loki the way they did, it was a fantastic episode. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, overall, this season has been pretty much fantastic from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
Every episode, an 8 out of 10 at minimum. In my opinion.
Yep.
I have to say though that even though I enjoyed this episode, there were times I was wondering what the fuck's going on. And I really tried to understand what the hell was going on. But just to and by the way, we are going to be talking spoilers.
Yes.
But we are. Loki became He Who Remains. Is that correct?
Basically, yeah. Loki. Yep. Loki became the guy that now will be guarding the timeline for pretty much going
eternity.
Forward. Yep.
Yeah.
And just to go ahead and get into spoiler territory, like there is rumors that there will not be a season 3. Honestly, you don't need it at this point. You really don't. With the way you ended it.
Where'd you go with that?
Yeah. With the way you ended it, you don't need a season 3.
You can have the characters from the TVA appear elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But like the show is called Loki. He's now sitting on a fucking throne for the rest of his life or for all eternity. What else is there to do?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get to some comments. NerdTube Assemble.
Yep.
It's been on every universe, and this is the one has the best NerdTube on Earth 717. It's just Zam of a channel called BirdTube. Yeah, I got some bird fucking poo as well on me right now. I was trying to clean it off last minute. On Earth 77725, Gary is Apocalypse. Well, there wasn't the word Apocalypse was mentioned in today's episode, but it wasn't to do with fucking the apocalypse.
Yep.
The loom turning into the world tree was perfection. Yeah, that was a nice touch.
Yeah, it was a nice touch. I really like that.
Yeah, and Loki became the god of stories, I didn't talk about last week.
Yep.
So yeah, he truly had his redemption.
Yep.
This variant of Loki, by the way, he had his redemption at the end, which was fantastic.
Yeah, and everybody got what they wanted. Loki got to go, sit on his throne and be like, "All right, I'm the protector of time now. It's what I do." He sits there and he just watches over time. Sylvie gets to go live her life. I don't think they showed what happened with her afterwards. The black lady, she stays at the TVA with Ouroboros and the other guy, and then Mobius he finds out what his life was like. So everybody got what they wanted.
Exactly. So at the beginning of this episode, I was getting Groundhog Day vibes for sure. Like he was trying to get Timely to put that pin into that device and hopefully stop the loom from expanding, and he wasn't able to pull it off, and then he realized, okay, not sooner but earlier.
Earlier.
So he tries to do it.
Yeah, and then they went through, the thing about this is they went through the video game montage of like, okay, when you go up against that really hard boss and then you die like 50 to 100 times, and that's what I got out of this. I was like, okay, they're doing the video game style of repetition.
Dark Souls.
Like, we got to do it again and again and again and again. And and it just ultimately comes down to, okay, he succeeds, but the temporal loom gets all fucked up, and then it leads into, again, Loki having to go back to Sylvie and He Who Remains like the first season ended. And it basically repeated itself. And my favorite scene of this entire episode was Kang basically telling Loki, "Hey, yo, man, no matter what it is that you guys are going to try to do, you're fucked. Because as I said, if you think I'm evil, just wait until you meet my variants. My variants already exist, meaning shit is going to happen anyway. You can't fuck with time and space and fate." That's basically what Kang was trying to tell Loki.
He's got evil variants, but I will say that not all his variants are evil because, I would say Timely was a good guy.
Yeah.
It just didn't turn out to be...
he was a shyster, but he was a good guy. Yeah.
Yeah. The one thing I really wanted to see but didn't was the name on Morbius Mobile was Coulson. No, I'm glad that wasn't the case. I'm glad, because then it starts. You start. Oh no! I'm happy that Coulson and Morbius are not a variant of each other or stuff like that. Morbius, he's just a guy who wants to fucking jet ski. He's got a couple of kids and shit like that. I'm glad that was the case, and they didn't do like a he's also a Coulson. I'm very very happy they did.
That would have been cheesy as hell if they would have done it that
Too
way.
much.
I mean, I get it, but yeah, I didn't want it that way. Marvel's already cheesy enough as it is with a lot of the stuff they do.
Yeah, exactly. There were definitely callbacks to previous films. Obviously, Back to the Future, as well as Groundhog Day, and as he was going back earlier and earlier and trying to resolve all of these things. Some of the interactions were absolutely hilarious, and then he had to obviously learn
he had to learn science, and I thought that was cool. Like he had to learn science,
he's like, how old is he? Like he's like 5,000 years old, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, so like a few centuries is going to be what, a couple of years for him.
Yeah,
in essence, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. So he had to learn all of that, and then and then he tried to do it again, couldn't, realized it wasn't going to work. Oh, then he obviously has to talk with Kang. There was one moment with Kang when he's talking with Kang that Kang didn't pick up on one of his. I think he quoted Beethoven, I believe. And Kang did, and Kang was like, "What? What was that all about?" I'm like,
"What?"
And Kang has always been one step ahead, and he'd always known exactly what was going to go on. But on this particular occasion, he didn't pick up on what Loki said, and I thought that was kind of interesting. And at some point as well, during the course of Kang's conversation about Loki, where he's acting very eccentric, he kind of drops the act a little bit as well.
Yeah,
and
he basically tells him, like, dude, no matter what it is that you try to do, shit's gonna happen. Like, you can try to stop me, but you ultimately won't be able to succeed at what you're doing. And that's what he's telling him. He's like, you're not going to be able to. He's like, you're not going to be able to stop me because I'm Kang. There's always going to be me. I'm always going to be around in some way, shape, or form.
What's so tragic about all of this is that he's been. You realize whilst watching all of this that he's been doing this for centuries.
Mm-hmm.
These little small pockets in time, which only last a couple of minutes. He's been doing that for centuries.
Yep.
So he's been repeating those moments for centuries.
Mm-hmm.
And Edge of Tomorrow was the other film I was thinking of, by the way, which this kind of reminds me of too. Have you seen Edge of Tomorrow?
It's been a long time. Yeah, been a long time.
So he's been doing. Loki's been doing this for a long time too, and you almost feel like he's defeated, like he's tried every variable possible, and then he comes to the conclusion that it needs to be him who needs to do this. And he kind of becomes the good guy eventually, doesn't he?
He's like, I have to be God because that's what I was born to be. I have to be a God. So essentially,
the glorious purpose, and all of that.
Purpose, yeah. And then what Loki basically does is he goes out and they're like, no, you can't do this, blah 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 blah. And then he just says, fuck it, I'm going to do it anyway. He starts to deteriorate and then go back to Loki, the god of mischief. I love that touch that they did with him.
He is like a supreme. When I say he's not a god, he's an alien.
Yeah,
but he is like a supreme being. Like, you remember in Avengers: Infinity War when they're trying to get that cauldron to start to build Thor's new axe.
Yep.
Like, he takes a full fucking star to the back, when he's holding that shit together, So someone like Loki, even though he's a different race of alien, he's a nice whatever. He's still very powerful. So he's able to take, not turning into spaghetti. He's able to come to him a lot more naturally than it would do to Timely, who's a human being.
Yep.
And then obviously he changes into his uniform, his Loki uniform, and he starts creating steps for himself. Kind of reminded me of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade a little bit, when he takes that leap of faith, and all of that.
Yep.
And he walks, and he starts walking up the stairs, and then boom, like he sits on the throne.
Yeah,
It's
he
the same
started.
seat.
I love how he
Yeah,
started. I love how you started literally touching the branches just to try to merge everything together. I thought that was the coolest thing in this episode. I was like, all right, cool. They're having him go through and actually touch shit. And that's something that the Kangs are afraid of because in Quantum Mania, they're beginning to touch the multiverse. And if they're touching our shit's going to get fucked up. And that's what Loki basically did was he came in and he started touching shit.
yep.
And they don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, he's still. I mean, the TVA can see him. He hasn't he's not like he's out of eye shot. They know where he is, but he's just there, sitting on his own, just doing his own thing, and it's weird. Can people meet him?
Yeah.
Is he able to maybe get off the seat and do other stuff? I mean, what if he needs to go to the toilet? Does he get hungry or what? All of these things were making me wonder what the fuck does he do just sitting there? Does he make things up? And
yeah, it's one of those things where it's one of those things where you try to apply logic to an illogical situation because it doesn't make any sense to begin with. But it's one of those things of like, okay, what does he do? Does he just sit there all day just watching time go by? Does he, do stuff in his off time? It makes you wonder.
I want to see a loop where Loki is just tired and needs a break, so he loops back to Morbius just eating pie. Yeah. And by the way, you guys need to Google or YouTube key lime pie Loki so you can see how that.
Oh, they've got the recipe out now.
Because I've seen key lime pie, but none of them look as deliciously looking, or I can't think of the word, moorishly looking. That's the word, more as the one in Loki. I want that one.
Yeah, you're like, I want this authentic pie.
Yeah, I want the one that looks like this. I don't want that one which looks like a giant fucking green booger on the plate. I want this one with a little fucking bit of whipped cream on the top and all of that. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, worth googling after this. So
yep.
So so Renslayer, by the way, she's in that Loom world, and she, by the way, is that the future of the TVA because she stands on the plate and it's got the same TVA plate.
It's got the same logo. So I'm like, okay, well, how will Renslayer get back if she does? Is this the end of her arc? That's what I'd like to know because with Avengers coming up, I'm like, you would think they would get Loki back. You would think they would get some of these guys back. But I don't know, man. I mean, considering
it's not necessarily about getting back. It's more like where people going to see Loki, like him having a part to play, but not being the main part, just a part, a conduit.
Yeah.
In whatever happens in the Kang dynasty or Kang Wars or whatever the fuck, he has a role to play for the Avengers themselves. Because the thing with Loki, he's not an Avenger. He never will be, in my opinion. So
yeah, they'll go to him and they'll be like, "All right, dude, what the fuck do we do?" And he's like, "Well, you can't stop him, this way and this way and this way. So you have to try to, get bigger, get stronger, get everybody that you can to try to kick his ass." And I think that's probably what Loki's role is going to be. Is like, I can't do anything from here. All I can tell you is try to get everybody that you can to stop Kang, and that's about it.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Mm-hmm.
So too, and obviously, Renslayer, some purple light was being shone on her face.
Yep.
So I don't know if that's a Kang variant or not, or He Who Remains, the original one.
Yeah. Like, did she land on his home type of thing or something like that? Yeah. Like, there's questions because Renslayer and Kang have always been close, so I'm expecting them in one of the Avengers movies to kind of establish that relationship between the both of them. And the one thing we haven't touched on yet is what they're going to do with Miss Minutes, because I like how Oberys is like, I'm trying to figure out how she's not going to kill us all because she did try to kill us all previously. So it makes you wonder, will there be tie-ins and shit like that in one of the Avengers movies, even if it's just briefly?
I want Miss Minutes to be an Ultron level bad guy, because she's also AI.
Yeah,
and I think she had a different aspect about her, which makes her very fascinating.
Yep.
And I was a bit gutted in a way that she kind of got resetted. It's not what I wanted. I would have still liked her to be this evil menace.
Yeah.
This look.
I would have liked to have seen them try to do like put in passwords, and then she still says like access denied, you can't get logged in, shit like that, just to be like a total dick. Like that would have been great if they would have had Miss Minutes still kind of be like that. Like be like, we can't figure out our own fucking programming because of her.
There's a moment as well where B15 and Morbius are talking, and he mentions a particular incident with a Kang variant, and I'm not sure if you picked up on that, but that was the Kang variant for Ant-Man. Ant-Man Quantum, yeah.
Okay, so the exiled one got referenced. Yeah.
Yeah. He mentioned about the sub realm in the 616 universe, and that obviously being like the quantum realm.
That makes me want to watch Quantum Mania again. I'm gonna do that.
Really? Yeah. Okay, fair enough. So that was a nice little callback.
Yeah.
But everything seems to be hunky dory in the TVA, and now I mean, I know people like Morbius and stuff will be seen in other aspects of the MCU. I want the TVA now just to be in other aspects of the MCU, especially with all this time travel shenanigans we've got going on, the multiversing.
Yeah, they've had their focal point. So I'm like, okay, cool. You guys have done your arc, but I still want the TVA to be referenced. I still want them to be noticed. I want them to be like, when they go see Loki, it's like, what the fuck have you been doing all this time? And then he could explain like real quick, this is what happened to me after Thanos. This is why I'm here, type of thing. And this is why I do what I do.
Yeah, sorry. Daniel Vaughn's Earth 616 adjacent means the quantum realm, which is why because if it's if it's not Earth 616 but it's an adjacent Earth, then wouldn't that be 617 or 615?
Yep,
or anything along those lines.
It opened the door to replace the actor. Okay, yeah, I agree because there is rumors that they are going to recast Jonathan Majors, and I honestly wouldn't have an issue with that because I want the character story to be completed.
Yeah. I want the character Kang. Yeah,
I don't want them going straight to Doctor Doom because I'm not ready for Doctor Doom yet. I'm like, we're still like 5 years away from Doctor Doom. I'm not there yet. I'm like, let's get through what we've got coming now. Let's get to Kang. Let's kick his ass. And then if Doom shows up, I'm cool with it.
Look, Doom for me needs to be saved for the Mutant Saga when that begins. So save it for that. Don't jump on the Doom bandwagon now because of issues with Jonathan Majors. Get in John Boyega. A lot of people are clamoring for John Boyega to play Kang if Jonathan Majors can't. People are okay now and have accepted that you can recast actors.
If you could do it with Rhodey and you could do it with Hulk, you could do it with anybody. That's kind of been my philosophy with Marvel. I'm like, if you could do it with two of the main, if you could recast two of the Avengers, you could do that with anybody. And I know people are going to be in a tizzy about, they might be bringing back Tony Stark. They might be bringing back Captain America. I'm like, I hate it. I don't want it. But from a business perspective, it kind of makes sense because considering comics do this all the fucking time anyway, they always retcon and bring people back. I hate it.
I think this is going to be. I think this will backfire. In my opinion, like you either make them permanent again, which I mean, look, Tony's like Robert Downey Jr. is almost in his 60s. Like, what the fuck are they thinking? Like Chris Evans is in his 40s. Like these guys are like he plays a very young guy, like in Captain America. Like he can't keep doing this role forever. You need to obviously make way for the next generation.
And I saw the Marvels. I saw the Marvels yesterday, and I'm not going to go into anything, but here's an idea: Young Avengers, people, Young Avengers. That's all I'm saying. Go younger with it.
They set up a whole bunch of things for Young Avengers, but the way that they've been going on recently and having to go back to the drawing board and delay shit, these Young Avengers actors are going to get too fucking old.
Yeah,
You know,
they gotta.
so
It's
yeah,
gonna be one of those things where you need to have Young Avengers out by 2029. It needs to happen because by
I mean,
then it's like these guys are gonna be older. Like Iman Vellani, she's in her early 20s now. This will be the peak of her career. So if you're gonna do,
you gotta have Miles Morales Spider-Man because
yes,
Andrew Holland's too old. He's
yep,
like he's like 26 now.
yeah,
You like you had the kids who play Wanda's twins. You got what's his name, the Black Captain America, his great grandson.
yep.
He's in there. You got the young Loki from season 1.
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, you could do a Young Avengers, and they need to go that route. But I think, like you said, I think what they're going to do is the Mutant Saga is next, which means Avengers versus X-Men / an Avengers X-Men team up. That's what everybody's going to want to see, and I think that's where we're going.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Marvel, by the way, we're doing a review of the Marvels on Monday. I'm going
Monday.
to be watching it. I'm watching it this Monday.
Yep.
With Ginger Greek. So keep an eye out for that. Harley from Iron Man 2 is Iron Lad. Yeah, I was thinking that as well as Riri Williams.
Yep.
As well. And obviously you got the young Hulk we saw at the end of She-Hulk.
Yeah, that they did literally. They literally buried him. It was like, oh, okay, here's my kid, and then never mentioned him again. It was like, okay, so here he is, but why the fuck is he here? And yeah,
exactly. So yeah, the like it's all there, ready. Somehow you can bring these motherfuckers together organically somehow.
mm-hmm.
You know, I'm sure there's a couple of people we've missed. Oh yeah, like there's oh god, Kate Bishop as well. Like yeah, you know. So this and what's her name? Scott Lang's daughter,
Cassie.
Cassie. Cassie Lang.
I mean, yeah, what's going to have to happen is I think in order to get the MCU back up, they need to start the Young Avengers now. It's like, I know you guys want to do Kang. Let's get that out of the way. Let's do that. And then when it's the Mutant Saga, because that's next, then that's when I want to see Avengers versus X-Men or the Young Avengers. I'm kind of ready for that. And I think by 2030 is when it needs to happen. No later than like 7 years from now, because by then, Iman Vellani is going to be in her 30s, and
a lot of them will be in their 30s. Like what's her face?
Mm-hmm.
Is it not Haley Atwell? What's the name of the actress who plays Kate Bishop? She'll be in her fucking 30s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, they kind of need. I think what you need to do is you just need to find a way to fucking incorporate the Young Avengers into the Kang storyline. Like, let's just make it happen, because that's what
you got what's his face as well, like T'Challa's son.
Yep.
The new Black Panther.
Yep.
As well. So if they can age him up really quickly, there's one kid who needs to be aged up, but he's just a fucking child at the end of Wakanda Forever.
And then with the next Spider-Man movie, can we get fucking Miles Morales, please? Please? Yeah. I mean, for the love of God, I love Tom Holland, but it's time. It really is. I love Tom Holland. He's done fantastic, but even I'm ready for Tom Holland to kind of retire as Spider-Man and move on.
Well, talking about that, let's just quickly let's give a mock. I want to do 2 in 1 here. What are you going to give this episode?
I'm going to go ahead and give it. I'm going to go ahead and give it about an 8. I think that it was honestly for a series finale, because I don't think there will be a season 3. I thought it was one of the best series finales, and I'm going to go ahead and say this without giving anything away. I think the Marvels and Loki should have been swapped. Loki could have been good enough to be a good movie, while the Marvels could have been its own TV show. And that's what I really think.
Okay, I'm going to give this also an 8 out of 10. Yeah. I think I'm glad this was a TV show, because the padding and having all this story time to tell all of this is what benefits a TV show nowadays compared to a movie, because movies, unfortunately, you have to try and squeeze in a lot in a short space of time. So so just my birds on my computer.
But okay, now that we've gotten Loki out of the way, now that we've gotten Loki out of the way, okay, 9 out of 10. The score, the visuals, I can't even honestly argue with an 8 or a 9 out of 10. I mean, I don't know if you can make the last episode a 10. I think honestly the episode with Victor Timely a couple episodes back was the best of the entire series. Like the halfway
I thought
point was the peak of the show.
I thought episode 1 was excellent.
Yeah,
of this series.
The one thing I can say about Loki is every episode has had an oh my god moment. There was not a filler episode of this entire season. Like every episode, I couldn't wait to see what the hell was going to happen next.
Yeah, I agree.
And now what Marvel needs to do, stop giving us characters we don't give a fuck about. Go back to doing just a couple movies a year. We don't need 3 Marvel movies a year. You know, you don't need to have a TV show for almost every fucking character because there's going to be people that we don't give a fuck about. Like Ironheart, I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck about Ironheart. I don't.
Well, you haven't given us a reason for us to care. You put her in the mixer with so many other fucking people.
Yep.
That it was very hard for her to stand out in the first place. She wasn't prominent enough.
Yep.
Because with Wakanda Forever, with Chadwick Boseman gone, the supporting cast all had to step up. Mm-hmm. And then you throw her in the fucking mix. You know, she was never going to like stand out too well. If anything, that wasn't the right film for her, in my opinion.
Yeah, if anything, Shuri should be the one stepping up and being like, "All right, bitch, I'm gonna be your next like Tony Stark. That's gonna be my role. I'm gonna be the genius." And that's what Shuri excels at. She's like, I'm going to be the genius of the team. I'm going to be the one that comes up with everything.
Exactly. So, now, as we were mentioning Spider-Man now, I was hoping we could talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, let's go.
I finished playing it last week.
Okay.
And it did get a lot better as it went along. I think some of the boss battles, they were kind of repetitive. And some of the side missions, like I think the one side mission I really didn't like was chasing those birds and flying through the city.
I did, but for a different reason. I didn't like it from a gameplay perspective, but from like it was like a peaceful element, and I enjoyed it. It was something about it where I felt like, okay, this is relaxing. It's at peace, but man, my heart goes out to Howard. I was like, fuck, that just sucks. But you kind of knew what was going to happen, give or take, in that mission. It was bittersweet.
The game, I think it kind of played it very safe with Spider-Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only thing noticeable since the DLC was the web wings, which was a nice way of traversal.
Yeah,
I did very much appreciate that. But so many things did come back. From the original game, and they not necessarily evolved on. I wasn't a big fan of having to re-get your
abilities. I didn't like that. Finally, finally,
well,
dude, you missed the entire review already, so I don't know what to tell you because you are like a half hour late, bro.
Yeah, give us your score. What are you going to give out of 10 for Loki?
The series or just this episode?
This episode.
This episode, yeah.
I'd give it a 9. I thought this was an incredible episode.
Okay. Yeah, it was. It was pretty good. Actually, I'll give the series a 10. By the way,
yeah, the series as a whole. The series as a whole is going to get a 10, and you need to go out of your way to watch it.
Yeah, because I love this because like. I also love the fact that he sacrifices himself for the Sacred Time for the timeline and stuff like that. And it's no longer one timeline; it's the entire. But he combines them all, and I also love that.
Yep.
Yeah, he became He Who Remains, basically.
Yep.
He became the new version. So yeah,
but with Spider-Man, here's the deal. Like, okay, I'll give the Marvel fanboys this. Storyline wise, you could probably put it as game of the year because the story, I liked it. For Spider-Man 2, from a story perspective, I loved it. Gameplay-wise, I didn't. Gameplay-wise, I felt like it was too much of the same as the first one. I didn't like that you had to re-upgrade all your abilities. I liked the web wings. I thought that was cool, but it wasn't innovative. This game didn't really do anything to, make it feel like a brand new game. It felt more of an extension of the first couple games that was already out.
Story-wise, it's been a long time since there's been I've come across a really good video game story, and some of the best ones for me are the Mortal Kombat ones, the Injustice ones, obviously, which is why I'm looking forward to the Suicide Squad story as well. Like the comic book stories tend to be the best ones, and this obviously being a comic book story as well. It felt like I was watching a movie. You could get all the cutscenes together, and you got a fantastic animated movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but it just played it too safe. But there are issues people have with Spider-Man 2 outside of gaming. For instance, some people were complaining that in one of your missions you have to help that blind woman.
Yep.
With the electric dog. Yep. Like they're calling it, oh look, you have inclusion in the game because you're helping a blind woman. What's the fucking big deal?
Yeah. I mean, Peter Parker would do shit like this all the time in the TV show and comics. So I don't understand what the fuck the problem is.
I don't get what people's issues with a blind woman in one mission who you help, who's only there as a way of getting like having a kebab here. Like he's friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. This is what they do. I found people's issues with that to be terrible. Like, oh my god, you have an issue with blind people now, and the fact in one particular level, just to mix things up, you played Miles Morales' girlfriend who's deaf.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with that mission.
Yeah,
I thought it was a nice change of pace.
It was a nice change of pace, and I like the fact that that you played it from her perspective, so you couldn't hear anything.
I liked that. I liked it. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, you're deaf. You literally can't hear anything. And I'm like,
exactly,
okay, yeah.
But people have an issue with that, Jose, and people have an issue with the Mary Jane missions, which I thought were also a nice change of pace.
Yep.
I didn't mind the Mary. I don't get it. Like, the Mary, like the way people are going on about the Mary Jane missions. That like she's like the worst thing ever. I think it was only three or four levels like that. It wasn't.
Yeah,
it wasn't that difficult.
It's not like how Rocksteady did it with the Batmobile. My God, it was like, okay, you got to play as Mary Jane maybe a couple times, and I'm like, okay, this is what I want. You play as her maybe no more than 3 times, and that's it. And each time that you did, it felt unique. It felt special. It was like, okay, I'll agree that the stun gun was too OP, but beyond that, I don't have any complaints about the Mary Jane missions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the end of the game when Peter decides to just to like take some time off and says, "Look, Miles, are you okay with like being?
Are you all right with being Spider-Man?" Yeah,
yeah. And how many people have an issue with this, Jose? Like, Peter Parker's my Spider-Man, not Miles Morales. It's Peter Parker. It's Peter Parker. Like,
guys,
hold your fucking horses.
Guys, you gotta understand. You gotta understand. Things move on. That's happened.
This is look. Peter Parker was the main guy in the first. It was in the first game. They shared the game in the second one, and now let Miles Morales have the third one. What's the big fucking deal? Seriously, it's just a video game. There's more than one version.
I don't see the issue with this.
I think there's like several versions of Spider-Man. You have Spider-Gwen. You have that Latino guy in the future from 2099 or 2199. He's a Spider-Man. You have Miles Morales. There's more than just fucking Peter Parker in this world, And people are losing their shit. This is just one rendition of Spider-Man, and you know what? I do think Peter Parker will be back for Spider-Man 3, regardless.
He'll be back. I mean, you might not get to play as much, but I'm okay with that if you don't. I'm like, I prefer actually Miles getting his own game, and that's what I want. I mean, I know we got it in Miles Morales, but I want Spider-Man 3 starring Miles Morales. I want Miles to get top billing. That's what I want.
Now, all of these people have issue because all of these things is woke. Oh, I'm sorry, baby. All of these things are woke, because you have a blind woman, you have a deaf girl, you have people who are not white, you have a black guy being Spider-Man, all of this sort of stuff. Woke. But you know what? The one thing they're not complaining about, the one thing, nobody has complained about whatsoever, is fucking Harry Osborn and not Eddie Brock being Venom.
Yeah, no one said shit about that. Nobody bitched about that because I remember
because white man can be white man no matter what. You know what I mean? White is white. It's all fucking good. Yeah, but the moment you fucking start changing other things up, we have a fucking problem. But it's all right. White guy, all fucking good. That's what it is. That's what it is.
But I don't get it though. Like, if you've got a problem with Miles Morales, go play the Peter Parker one. Look, the thing is, just leave those people who want to play for Miles Morales.
Oh no, dude, they don't. Here's the thing with these people. They don't want you being happy unless you agree with their views. That's what the fuck they're trying to express. They're like, we want you liking Spider-Man the way we like it. It's like, dude, not everybody's going to like the same fucking thing.
I mean, as I said, like, I want Miles Morales to be in the MCU or in the Spider-Man, just because, and it's not because I'm woke, it's because representation. Like, how many Hispanic superheroes do we have out there? Literally black Hispanic superheroes do we have? And I literally, like, he's one of them.
Yep.
And the fact is that he could have his own villains. Like, he doesn't need to be tied to Peter Parker. He could just be doing his own thing.
Yep.
He could be like a different part of New York. He could be like, Peter could go and just be with MJ or whatever, like he is in the game.
And I think y'all will agree. I mean, we all love Peter Parker, but let's be real. His time in the MCU and video games, it's like, dude, you've had your arc. It's time to move on to the next Spider-Man, and Miles Morales is that dude.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
Yep, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's like, I want Miles Morales to get top billing. Go ahead.
I mean, I personally wouldn't mind Peter Parker coming back with regarding. Obviously, we need to have the Green Goblin, and him being his best friend's dad makes it personal in that particular sense. And so, that in its own right I mean, look, I could just see it being like this. Story-wise, Miles Morales has been doing, for the last few years, he's been Spider-Man, but now, like, things are picking up, Carnage is around, you got Chameleon, you've got, obviously, the Green Goblin. These people are all causing an issue, and so he's asking Peter Parker to put on the costume again and give him a hand, and hopefully they'll make it co-op.
Yeah, that would make Spider-Man 3. That would make Spider-Man 3 a 10 out of 10. If it was a co-op game, you wouldn't need to innovate after that. It'd be like, all right, cool, it's a co-op game, and you do tag team moves. That right there would make it a 10 out of 10. You don't really need to reinvent the wheel. Just make it co-op. That you can play solo if you want to. You could beat the game both ways. You could beat it co-op. You could beat it solo. You'd get double the enjoyment out of the
game. Sorry, Daniel Vance here. The bird has shat on me. I'm very well aware of that.
But the other point I'd like to make is, like, look, the whole point of Spider-Man is that he can be anybody. Because that's what Stanley said that he said he could be any color, he could be any religion, he could be any. He said he could probably be any gender, but I said I don't know about that. But he said that he could be anybody, and he's there going, because the thing is that I want that, because if we could cover from head to toe, he could be anybody. It's like, so he can be Miles Morales, he can be Peter Parker. It doesn't matter. It's about what they do. They're very similar in their morals. I mean, actually, Miles has to save him in the new game from the Venom symbiote.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's another thing as well. Like, people had an issue with Miles Morales saving Peter Parker.
What the fuck was wrong with that? It actually added to the story.
Because they don't like the black guy saving the white guy. They don't like it. They don't like it, honestly. The white guy's weak. He's having to be saved. I'm thinking, like, what is going on?
It's a video game.
Dude, this is the culture, unfortunately. This is the culture that has been established recently, where people don't like, like seeing, like they were pissed off that all the main characters, apart from Peter Parker, are bad white guys, except for Mr. Negative. But then again, if they were watching the whole, I thought a lot of the villains redeemed themselves. So many of them. Tombstone was redeemed.
I mean, the best fucking thing in the game. The best fucking thing in the game was when you had to go through Peter's head. I thought that was the coolest thing in the game, when you and Mr. Negative had to go through Peter's mind, and you got to see everybody. You got to see Rhino. You got to see Scorpion. You got to see all the guys that he put away, and you got to go into Peter's psyche. I thought that was a cool thing. I thought that was the coolest gameplay element of the game.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, and I personally think, as I said, the thing with the games is we had a really good Spider-Man game with Peter Parker. Mm-hmm. Now he's realized being a Spider-Man isn't stopping me living my life. It's time for somebody else to bring on the mantle.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's loads of superheroes who were flaming. What's the word for it? There's a word for it.
They pass the mantle on.
Legacy superheroes.
The legacy passes. Yeah.
Like Robin is one. Flaming Blue Beetle's one. Flaming. There's loads of them. Like who the mantle passes, and it doesn't. What's the word? Negate the good stuff the other person did. It is that it was a time when they were there, and they decide, you know what? I'm now done.
Okay, but given that we've finished the game, I'm going to go ahead and bump my rating up. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, honestly. I think that's what it worked because the story was fantastic. The story, it was honestly, I think, one of the best I played all year from a storyline perspective. Gameplay is still going to get a 7 out of 10 for me because they didn't really innovate the wheel. They didn't really do anything to change it. The third game, if you can make it co-op, you got damn near a perfect game.
Story wise, I'll give it a 10.
Yeah.
Gameplay wise, I'll give it an 8. But I wanted maybe more chances to play as Venom.
Yeah. Yep. That was the best part of the game.
And by the way, I like what they did with Venom. No anti-hero shit, straight up villain.
Yep.
And you know what was so clever about it as well was that not Eddie Brock, Harry Osborn wanted to heal the world. Yep. He wanted to evil the world. So this symbiote, he because it's evil in a way. Like it's taking Harry's ideas and twisting them.
Yep.
Hello, Mr. System. He's twisting Harry Osborn's ideas, and his idea of healing the world is turning everyone into a symbiote. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was genius.
Yep.
You know, those sort of things.
I already know I'm gonna lose my shit when we finally see Carnage in the third game. When Carnage comes to form, that's going to be the most anticipated moment of the game because we know it's coming, we know it's there, but I just got to see it. I got to see Cletus Cassidy as Carnage, and he has to be a boss fight. I have to have that in the third game.
I like the way that I was kind of anticipating with one of the side missions when you got that symbiote. I thought to myself, we're setting up for Carnage here for the third game, aren't we?
Yep. You know, I can't wait. I can't wait.
And he said there'll be so much carnage. I thought, yes.
Yeah, I can't wait. So, I cannot wait. I'm like, dude, they gotta have. Even if Carnage gets to be the main villain, I'm happy with it. What I want to see.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
it'll be Green Goblin.
It'll be Green Goblin, yeah. But I could see like Carnage being like the secondary kind of guy.
Yeah, like the Craven hero, like the Craven villain.
Yep.
So, by the way, just a comment here.
Is Loki in charge?
Can't be any. I was saying, Spider-Man can't be any gender. Spider-Gwen across the universe is. I thought Gwen was a woman, but nevertheless.
There is suggestion that in the Spider-Verse things that there are characters who are trans.
Yeah, which is fair enough.
But I don't think Spider-Gwen herself is trans.
No, she's definitely pro-trans, and that pisses people off because there's lots of bigots.
If it's not white, it's not right. Fuckers.
Yeah, there are many hints in that movie. And by the way, you got Silk as well, but she's obviously of Asian origin, so that's going to piss people off for that reason alone. Because
Loki,
it's crazy how people get pissed off over things like this, man. They just.
To answer Block's question, yeah, Loki's in charge for now until Kang decides to fuck more shit up. Yep.
Yeah.
The Marvel's Mr. System. The Marvel's is good, but it's not going to be like an outstanding movie. So don't go into it.
Don't say anymore. Don't say anymore. I've yet to see it, and I'm going to give you my opinion on it on Monday when we do our live review.
There's a spoiler alert, like Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father. I wanted to get that out there. Yep, it had to be said.
So I'm gonna see that on Monday. I've been avoiding as much. Some things, unfortunately, I couldn't avoid. But even then, like we're talking titles of people's videos and stuff. But they have been a mixed bag, from far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, the one thing I'm going to tell you for sure, like I'm not giving anything away, it's not outstanding. So don't go into it with that expectation. It's good, but it's not going to be like golden era Marvel, if that's what you're thinking.
Well, the only thing I can say that could be I'll be the judge of that. Like each to their own. But Zamario is Xanta. No, I am not Xanta. Everyone keeps thinking I'm Xanta, but I'm not.
I mean, you got the beard. You kind of got the beard. So I can kind of see that.
But Xanta, Xanta will be here in less than a month. By the way, Xanta Claus is coming to. Oh, look at this! There we go. So Xanta Claus will be coming in less than a month. So keep an eye out for that, fellas. Spider-Man 2. It's crazy. Everyone's shitting on it for certain things, but they all still fucking go to buy it. A lot of people are shitting on the Marvels, the usual crowd of people who call everything woke and just want to shit on it because Brie Larson's in it, and they've been shitting on Brie Larson, since the fucking the first Captain Marvel movie. They've got what they wanted, because let's be honest, some of these people, they need to shit on stuff. If there's nothing to shit on, they've got no YouTube channel.
Yeah, they're like wrestling. I equate them to wrestling fans. They say they hate the shit, yet they'll still spend money on it and watch it. I'm like, make that make sense. Like, if I hate something, I'm going to turn it off. And that's what I do. That's why I don't talk about wrestling anymore.
Likewise too, because
I don't watch it.
I mean, for a long time, I was shitting on wrestling. And then I did what I had to do, which is I stopped watching it. Now, I do go back now and again, obviously, like with Crown Jewel and stuff like that. But it's always good to revisit. But I'm never going to be fucking hardcore into it.
Yeah, I'm never going to be hardcore. Yeah, I'm never going to watch it full time again. I haven't watched it almost full time in 10 years. And that's what people need to do. It's like, okay, if you don't like something, don't buy it. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Don't comment on it. There's better things to spend your time and money on. But that's the world we live in. Yeah.
All right then, fellas. It's been nice talking about this, that, and the other. Loki has been great. Spider-Man 2, the video game, has been a lot of fun. And we look forward to talking to you about the Marvels in the next couple of days. And after that, myself and Bossman, hopefully, and maybe a guy called Josh from another YouTube channel, will be talking about fucking Quantum Leap, because it was supposed to come out last week, but it didn't. It's coming out this week. So we'll be talking about that. Episode 6. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube, the greatest YouTube channel you never heard of. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.